All right, so you're going to set up your page, okay, on your clipboard. It's important that you have a lip on your clipboard that you're going to put your ruler on, okay. So you need to learn the difference between your two set squares. This angle is 45. If you take a protractor and measure it, 45 plus 45, so the one that's even is equal to 90. When you look at this set square here, you'll notice that there's a 30-degree angle, a smaller one, and then there's a larger angle. That's your 60. 60 plus 30 gives you 90. All right, so learn the difference between the two. This set square is used for isometric, okay? And you're going to use the 45 for your orthographic. When you're setting up your page, always make sure that you've got a 10mm border. You've got your name block on the right-hand side. Make sure that you print your name between these two guidelines. I don't mind what information you put here and in what order, but the information I need is your class. So if you are 9M, 9R, 9S, you place that information in any one of these blocks. In one of the blocks, you're going to put your date, and in the other block, you're going to indicate whether this was done in class or whether it was done at home. You're going to be doing a cycle test. Your test is going to be based on a worksheet very similar to this, except I'm going to change the order of these blocks. So you're going to learn to think and imagine whether you're going to see the number or whether it is going to be hidden. And I'm going to teach you today how to look at those and work it out. Always remember that you're going to be given these blocks. You're going to start off by labeling X, Y, and it's going to be X1, Y1. Okay, it is always like that, can't be any other order. You're planning on the side of your page, anywhere on your page, I want you to start off by drawing yourself two little blocks. Now, your cycle test is going to be on first angle orthographic projection. First angle is the one that is opposite. All right, so first angle, we say to ourselves, all right, if I've got a front view and a top view, where will my top view go? If it's opposite, your top view is going to go at the bottom. This is where you're going to place your front view. Remember that your front view and your side view always go next to one another. So your side view is always that view that is on its own. Okay, so first angle is opposite, so your left is going to appear on the right, and you're going to have your 45 degrees just below that. And you're going to use that 45 degrees to assist you to get your measurements. So start off your drawing by taking your 45-degree set square. Just grab a smaller one. And you're going to take your set square. And at that corner, you're going to take your very sharp H pencil, H, 2H, 3H, any H. And you're going to lightly draw a line going across. If I move that ruler away, it must barely be visible. You have to have a difference between your light lines and your dark lines. Now, I want to position this block a nice distance away over here. So I'm going to ask you to measure 10 millimeters from the side, and leaning your set square against the bottom, you're going to lightly project that line up. Notice I don't hold that pencil very firmly, and I draw a light line going up. This is just helping me position this so that it's not too close and it's nice and even. I'm going to take my set squares and I'm going to make sure that my axes are nice and parallel. And where I made that mark again, I'm going to lightly take that across. Where it hits that 45 degree, I can then draw this line up. So this is just the start of my drawing. All right, now I can begin my drawing by placing and redrawing the top view in the position where we draw our top view. So I'm going to just quickly label, just for your reference, this over here is going to be my top view. We're then going to project a front view. And then taking our object and looking at it from the left-hand side, we're going to project our lines across and up. And this over here is going to be my left view, which is now found on the right-hand side. Right, we know that Deikmann blocks are 10 millimeters apart. So we're going to measure 10 and 20 going across. So I'm going to measure 10, 20, make 2 light little marks, and I'm going to project my lines lightly going up. I don't know how long to make these lines. I have to measure them, so I can make them as long as I wish. And as soon as you have that measurement there, you can now start drawing the top view of your block. So it's going to go across there like that. We're going to measure 10, 20 down. Make sure your set square is leaning nice against your clipboard there. You may even wish to turn it over. You could use it upside down. You could also do that. Line it up with that mark that you've made. And there is the start of our top view. We're now going to transfer the numbers. It's important that you transfer the numbers correctly because that will change the drawing depending on the position of those numbers. Again, we're going to be printing 3 millimeters high. There's 3. We've got 4. Make sure your printing is nice and neat. We've got block 2. And we've got block 1. I always tell my students that it's like running 100 meters. You always stay in your lane. So in this lane over here, in the front, we've got number 1 in the front, and behind it, we've got number 4. So in this channel here, the first block we're going to draw in is block number 1, and then behind it, we are going to draw block number 4. So I go ahead. I can measure my 1 block across, and I can draw that block in. I can at the same time measure the height for block number 4. Remember that block number 4 is resting on the ground. So we've already gone up 1, and we're going to go up another 1, 2, 3. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks high. There's my block number 1, and there is my block number 4. Right, so just to remind you that the number that appears on the block is going to give you the indication as to how high you need to make your block. So in this channel over here, we've got number 1. If I take my pencil, I'd see number 1 first. So that over there is going to be 10 millimeters high. Number 4 is directly behind it. It is on the ground. Okay, so it is hiding behind 1. We go up 2, 3, 4. We don't add it on top because that would make it 5 blocks high. Alright, so going on to the next block we're going to see. If I'm looking at it in this direction here, I'm going to see block number 2. My pencil touches block 2 first. So I draw in block 2 first. That's the one I'm going to see. So let's go ahead. We go here. Okay, so that's already up 10, and we go up another. So that's 20 millimeters. Leaning your ruler against the clipboard is going to give you a nice horizontal line. I can then go draw on the side. And just before I draw on the side, I just want to go and double check that's 2 blocks high. That measurement is correct. Block number 3 is directly behind that. So we've already gone up 1, 2. I just need to go up 1 more block. And we can see block number 3 just peeking out there behind block number 2. I make my mark. I get my ruler. Lean it against your clipboard. And it'll give you a nice horizontal line going across. I've chosen to draw my 2 heights first so that I can draw
one block in between, like you did for the top here, between the solid and the dry.
Alright, that's a good question. You are free to leave a space over there like that. I don't mind if you draw your Deikmann blocks on the ground, because I like to think that it's resting on the ground. So if you had a house, it's on the floor.
It's not right.
So if you have left a 10 millimeter gap, it looks nice and clean, and I'm quite happy with that.
Isn't it like not mirroring if it's...
Okay, so if I had a piece of property and I had a house, and this is my fence, I don't want my house on my fence. But when I look at the house from the front, my house is not in the air, the house is on the ground. So that was my thinking. It doesn't have, no, but it can be, it's fine if you have, it doesn't matter. Once you've projected your front view, do not write your numbers in the front. The only place that the numbers appear are going to be on our top view. We're now going to move on towards our left view. So if you take your pencil, I will be looking in this direction here from the left-hand side. And the first number I'm going to see is number 3 with number 4 behind it. So I'm going to take my ruler. I can project. I've already got that line going across. I'm going to take this line and I'm going to gently project it across and up. I'll lean my set square against the edge of the clipboard here, and that's going to give me a nice perpendicular line going up. And I can go to block number 3 and I can actually just take this height across. Or you are free to go ahead and measure 30 millimeters, that would be fine too. Behind block number 3, I'm going to have block number 4. So you are welcome to go to block number 4 and say, this is the height I'm looking for. And you can actually go and draw that in dark. Remember that block number 4 is 1 block taller than 3. Making sure that our pencil is not getting too blunt. You may need to sharpen it halfway through your drawing. A good technique is to turn your pencil as you're going along and it doesn't get a sharp edge on the one side. The next part we want to draw is in this channel here. We're going to have number 2, and behind that we're going to have 1. Now, if I've got number 2, I can take my height from number 2 across. I can project this across to my 45. I'm going to project this up. So measuring 20 millimeters up, there is block number 2. I know that if I want to draw block number 1, remember, is on the ground, which means that I'm not actually going to see block number 1. But we do need to tell the people that are looking at this drawing that there's information that we can't see. So I still measure up 10 millimeters, and I could take block number 1's height across, and I need to indicate that a line is hidden. And we do that by drawing a dashed line. So it's a 3 millimeter with a 2 millimeter gap, 3 millimeter, 2 millimeter gap with a 3 millimeter. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's roughly going to look like that. And that is the answer for the orthographic drawing for number 1. So that's the front view, top view, and left view of this drawing. Once we've done that, we can then go ahead and have a look at our isometric projection. Moving on to the isometric, we are going to continue. You will see that they have indicated that C is going to be your lowest block. So I want you to almost imagine that you are standing at this point here, and you are looking at block number 2, and block number 3 is going to go off to the left, and block number 1 is going to go off to the right with block number 2 in the middle. So I will start off by drawing my block number 2. And as far as possible, we are no longer going to draw out our isometric grids. We just want you to measure your lines and draw them as you see them. All right, so we need to go up. So I've marked off 10, 20, 30. I know that in the beginning, you might want to just add those 3 little grids. And if your drawing is nice and accurate, everything is going to line up. You'll notice that this first little block has been drawn in for you. So the base of block number 2 has been drawn in for you. And if I go up 1, 2, this is going to be the start of block number 2. And turn my ruler over. Every line that you draw that is correct, you will get marks for. So it's important that you don't just draw the whole grid and then come back and draw block number 2. Start off by drawing in block number 2, and then you know that you will get marks allocated for that block. Alright, so there is block number 2. Alright, now on the left-hand side of it, so over here, we're going to have block number 3. And on the right-hand side of it, we're going to have block number 1 here. So I can go across. I'm going to start off with block number 1. Block number 1 is going to be hiding behind block number 2. So I can go up 1 block. Each one is 10 millimeters. And with this 30-degree set square, if you draw accurately, all of your lines should line up quite nicely. So hiding behind block number 2, we've got block number 1 hiding there. In this position here, I'm going to draw 1 block going back. So if you can imagine, we've got block number 3 over here, starting at this corner here, which is the same as this corner here. So this is shared with block number 2. We've already gone up 1, 2. I just need to go up 1 more. So we extend that up by 1 more.
I forgot to switch time.
Are you using the 45?
Yeah.
That would be wrong.
Yeah, we didn't have one.
Yes. Now I just want to draw your attention. So far, here is block number 2. We went up to get this corner here. This over here is in line with block number 2. So over here we've got block number 3. So this corner here and this corner here is the bottom of block number 4. So at this point here, we just need to go up one more. We've already gone up 2, 3. We need to go up one more to find block number 4. So measure with your ruler. And that's going to be 1 centimeter taller than block number 3. If your set square isn't fitting there, remember that you can always go lean your ruler to the side. And what I'm going to do in this position here, I'm leaning my ruler against the edge of my clipboard here, and I'm using the bottom part of this line to draw in this piece here. For this piece here, I'm leaning my clipboard to the side there, making sure that it's nice and straight. So you'll see that it lines up. Turn my ruler over, leaning my set square against the side here. I'm sliding my ruler down. And there you have block number 4.
Sometimes you don't even have to measure the centimeters because
That is correct.
the board is like perfect, like in centimeters. So when it lines up, then it's 1
Correct.
centimeter.
So you're going to learn that sometimes you don't even have to measure, because if you work accurately, it's going to line up. Once you've done that, without rubbing your construction lines, you may just neaten up your drawing and just take away any excess lines on the outside of your drawing, but do not erase the lines that you used to find your drawing. Make sure your drawing is nice and clean, that you've printed your name, the grade, and the date, and then you can submit that drawing.
Now, in the test, how long will we have to use?